Good morning, everybody. So actually, today I'm going to teach you guys how to make lotion. So I have almost 20 years experience. Next year will be 20 years experience being a home herbalist, and I got my degree in complementary alternative medicine back in 2019. But today I'm going to give you my recipe. I owned a storefront in DeKalb, Illinois called the Herbal Oracle. This was a very, very popular recipe. And you can switch out the oils in it, but if you're not familiar how the different oils will affect your lotion, please feel free to message me, and I'll put in the link below. I do have a medicine making class that goes over all of this. It goes over the type of oils, because you don't want a greasy lotion, or maybe you do. Maybe your skin's just that dry and you're in a very dry climate and you need something a little bit greasier. So anyways, that class will be able to go over a lot of that. Well, today I'm going to do my best. It's my first time recording something like this, and I am not very tech savvy, so feel free to laugh at me all you want. I belong in the garden and I belong doing research because that's what I like to do. So today, this is my original lotion recipe. I also do a goat's milk recipe. So in the future, look out for how to do that either with canned. I'll go over using canned goat's milk, powdered goat's milk, and fresh goat's milk, and how that would change the process of making lotion. Same with soap. That's going to be very similar. I'm not just going to do cosmetics. I'm also going to be doing classes and little mini videos, how-to videos to teach you all the different things. I have a homestead. We do chickens. We do cows. We have a fishable pond. Really, it's limitless. I may end up taking you guys out and foraging and looking at different plants and mushrooms and talking about the phytochemicals and the therapeutic actions that those chemicals have on the body. But I'm able to do it in a way that is very digestible for you. So don't feel like it's completely over your head because you've got this. My 10-year-old, my 12-year-old, they could actually come in and teach a class. They are really good at doing all of this with me. And my 12-year-old is also a beekeeper with me, so I may have him when I'm talking about bees and all of that as well. So essentially anything with homesteading, natural living, and just doing it yourself so you can cut out the middleman. And a lot of these oils, like today we're going to use coconut oil and olive oil are two of the main ingredients. A lot of you guys already have that in your kitchen to cook with. So why not make the most out of everything and cut out the middleman and start being your own supplier? And by taking my course on herbal medicine making, it's going to give you more of an insight how to fine tune everything to fit your needs. So let's get started, shall we? Okay, so I'm going to tilt this down a little bit. Maybe I'm just going to show you. So here, I'm going to hold it for a second, so I apologize. So what we have here is I have already measured out my water. These are the oils that we're going to use. I'm going to go over them in a second. And I have them measured out. It is good to have a thermometer. I like using a digital infrared thermometer. You could also use the probe. You can use whatever. Also, you could also infuse your oils if you want other phytochemicals into your lotion that the carrier oil itself does not carry. I go over a lot of that in my classes as well. It doesn't matter if you use, like, these are different fragrances. And then I also have some essential oils and blends. These are not all my essential oils. I just threw a couple in here because I didn't know what all I was going to feel like making today. We do use preservative. I'm using Germall Plus. This is a natural preservative. We got the water. I think the only thing I'm missing is the glycerin. I may have to pause and go get that. The main things that you need 2 Pyrex, or these are Anchor Hocking. This is a 2-cup for this recipe. And then I have a little 1-cup. These will work just fine for this. You also need a double boiler. So if you look right there, this is an electric skillet. I have filled it with water. This is my double boiler. Essentially, a double boiler allows you to heat up the oils without putting them on direct heat. So I'm going to put them in a really hot spa-like bathtub and to melt and heat up the oils. Other than that, I do highly recommend using an immersion blender. I'm still in the process of moving to Kentucky, so my immersion blender is on a trailer on its way here, but it's not here. So I did do one run through. I was able to hand blend it. This is still thickening up, but the lotion turned out just fine. So just saying, if you hear weird animal noises in the background, I do have teenage boys, so I'm gonna just fair warn you. And I also have a little girl that is very ADHD, so she's fun too. So if you hear or see anything crazy, just act like that it's not happening. Okay? So anyways, so let me put my little webcam back up here, and here we go. So I'm just going to let you guys know right now that I am giving you guys my recipe. You have permission to recreate it as much as you want. I have been using this recipe for almost 20 years. I've started writing recipes about 20 years ago. And it's just an awesome recipe. Now, if you want the percentages in the recipes and how much percentage of oils and all that, I do share that in my class. So like I said, I do want to kind of keep this short and sweet if that's ever possible for me. But here we go. So the first thing we're going to do is water phase. So in water phase, we are going to use your water, and then you're going to have, and this has 9.4 ounces of water. And as you know, 1 cup of water is usually 8 ounces. So this one, even though 9.4, it's still, that's irrelevant. Anyway, what I was trying to get at is volume of a liquid versus weight of a liquid can differ. So just be mindful of that. So this is already pre-weighed. There's 9.4 ounces in here. And then I do need to add the glycerin, which will be 0.4 ounces of glycerin, which will go directly into this. Okay, so this will be set aside. I'll pause it here in a moment and I will top that off. So this one is our oil phase. So in our oil phase, we are going to have 1/2 ounce, so 0.5 ounces of coconut oil. I only use organic, unrefined, raw, virgin oils. I don't like using things that are refined or have had ingredients taken out of them. Yes, they are cheaper, but you are really cheating yourself if you do that. So the next ingredient is 1/2 ounce or 0.5 ounces of hemp seed oil. Now you can infuse these oils with whatever you want. If you wanted it a little bit more relaxing, you can add some lavender. Just remember that even though people are like, oh, well, essential oils, yeah, they're very volatile, but the thing is too, is when you add and infuse your oils, you're able to get chemicals that are not as readily extracted using water or alcohol like in tinctures. Now you can add tinctures to your lotion. Everyone freaks out, oh my gosh, alcohol, it's going to dry up. There's not enough alcohol in there to do that, but you need the alcohol to take certain chemicals out of the plant to actually be able to use them for therapy. So there's no other way around it. Otherwise, you're not getting those. So when I go over a lot of that on my podcast, Vital Revival, the podcast, you can find it almost anywhere. And you can also, you'll hear a lot of the important stuff I'll repeat over and over. Okay, anyways, we have 1/2 ounce of coconut, 1/2 ounce hemp. This is 1/2 ounce of organic extra virgin olive oil. And then we're going to do 1.4 ounces of cocoa butter. I like to buy them by the brick, and then I use a silicone mold. I melt it down. It takes a long time for it to harden back up, but it will harden back up. And I make them into smaller pieces. It's cheaper to do it that way. You can go ahead and buy them in wafers if you don't mind spending the extra money on the wafers. E-wax, coconut derivative. Now, if you are allergic to coconut, please reach out if there's enough people, or I plan on doing it eventually in the future, but if there's a lot of people really pressing on it, I'll move it up my to-do list. But there is ways to make your own products without things with coconut in it, but both e-wax and cetyl alcohol, which we're going to use both, are both coconut derivative. Now, the word alcohol and cetyl alcohol, this is not alcohol like ethanol. It is an alcohol chain that is in the plant. So don't freak out because of the word alcohol. Anyways, here's your e-wax. And here's your cetyl alcohol. Okay. This is your oil phase. So next, what I'm gonna do, silicone spatulas, let me talk about that for a second. Make sure your silicone spatulas, let me use the gray one so you can see it better. Make sure that there's no split between the handle and the spatula, because if there is, that will be a breeding ground for bacteria. So I really do like, I got these ones at Dollar Tree. They're amazing. So one more thing before I get these melting is that if you look at the double boiler back here, you want to make sure that you put the handles on the outside if you're using an electric skillet like me, to keep the handles cold or where you can touch it without burning yourself while the stuff inside is melting. So I will be right back. I will be right back as soon as the oils are done melting. And while in this pause, I'm going to go ahead and add the glycerin, vegetable glycerin, into this. And if I didn't say, it's 0.3 ounces of e-wax and 0.3 ounces of cetyl alcohol. And I'm going to add the 0.4 ounces of glycerin to the water, and I'm going to add it into the double boiler. And I will be back when the oils are done melting. I know for you that was like no time at all, but the oils are melted now. So let me go ahead and grab them and bring them here. And essentially we want to mix the oils as much as we can. This would be amazing to have an immersion blender, but like I said, it's in a trailer on its way here right now. So I'm going to be hand mixing these. So we are going to bring the oil. It's all melted down. And then this is our water with glycerin in it. Now, also I want to talk to you about the water. You need to use distilled water. Don't use tap water. Don't use well water. Filtered water, if you absolutely have to, distilled water is the best. Okay, it's going to help preserve your lotion. Also, I also want to take a moment to talk about containers. There's a lot of different ways you can store your lotion. If you have a container that you already have that you like, doesn't matter what brand it is, if it's empty, go ahead and just keep refilling it and using it. Plastics can take over 400 years to break down in the landfill. So if there is nothing functionally wrong with it, going ahead and just keep using it and keep more of the plastics out of the landfill. If you order lotion from me, I have decided I'm going to send them in mason jars. Now, it will be a little bit of a pain in the butt if you have a opening like this, or an orifice, because you're going to want to almost pipette it in with like the way you would with baking. So you put your icing in, say, a Ziploc bag, trim the corner, and then just squeeze it in and fill it up. Now, this is an airless container. If you notice, there's no straw. This is because the bottom lifts up as you use it, so it's not pulling air back into the container, which is going to prevent microbes from contaminating and bacteria growth in your lotion. That is why we have to use a preservative, because if you don't, if you're absolutely against using preservatives and you're like, nope, I don't want to do it, do very small batches, like maybe 4 to 8 ounces at a time. This batch is probably going to make around 14 ounces. You can store it for up to 2 weeks in the fridge. If you start getting mold, you can scoop out the mold and keep using the lotion, but just know that the mold could start growing more rapidly, especially if you're putting your hands in the lotion without washing them, because it's amazing how fast it can go bad. Again, I'm sorry about the circus in the background. We're doing this in my new home here in Kentucky. So we just moved here from Illinois, and I'm originally from Kansas. So it's kind of, I guess I'm staying in the Midwest. Anyways, back on topic. Let me remove my silicone spatula. And so we are now, I have a thermometer. You can use any type of thermometer except a candy. Don't use a candy thermometer. Temperatures aren't going to be high enough for that. Anyway, just to let you know, pulling it out, I'm about 140 degrees. Okay, so we're gonna go on ahead and I'm gonna show this to you right here. We're gonna blend. You see how the water changed? This is, and it doesn't look like any color that was already in either one. That is because the emulsifier is already blending the oils and the water together. Because I don't have an immersion blender, I'm gonna have to use a whisk. And so essentially, we're just going to whisk the heck out of it because I can't go as fast as an immersion blender and it does cut your time down. But essentially, you want to keep whisking it until it hits about 133 degrees Fahrenheit. So I know sometimes some people are sensitive to the noise. So if you need to mute it for a second, you can, because I know sometimes noises can get really irritating, especially metal on glass. The immersion blender helps, you know, get all that, kind of like drowns it out. But anyways, now, okay, yeah, so now we are about at 115 degrees. So I'm gonna let it sit. Yeah, it cooled off pretty fast. It's kind of chilly in here though. So we're gonna let this rest, and then about 113 degrees, we're gonna add in our scent and our preservative. Make sure that you read the instructions on your preservative, because depending on the preservative you use, it could change on what percentage to do in your recipe. So this recipe I calculated to be 13.5 ounces. So this says to use 1%. So that's like 0.1, 0.0, no, 0.13. I don't know. I'm not good at math in my head. But I had already figured that out and I had it measured out. And also I am using an essential oil blend for my son, whose shirt's on backwards, by the way. He just walked in here. He's trying to be quiet. But anyways, this is my own acne blend of essential oils, and I'm going to add it to the lotion. If you're not already following my podcast, I did a podcast on teenagers and acne and how the misconception of their skin being too oily is why they have acne. Their skin is too oily because they keep washing their face and stripping the oils, and it promotes the body to create more oils. So in order to combat that, then you need to, Sam, can you please wait? Thank you. In order to combat that, then you need to make sure their face stays moisturized, especially after showers, because it's going to slow down your own body's reaction to secreting oils. Sorry, that was a lot of distraction. I kind of have ADD too, so I'm like trying to stay focused, but when the kids come in and start doing too much, I do kind of get like, oh my gosh, what are you doing? Anyway, so this is my own acne blend. And so I already have it measured out here. So what did I do? Here it is. So now it's already trying to turn into lotion on me, so I better get this in here. So this is the preservative and the essential oil blend. And I'm gonna blend it in real quick. It smells delightful. Okay. Now I'm gonna switch back to the spatula because now we gotta get those essential oils mixed in with the emulsifier. There we go. So you definitely want to pour this while it's still a liquid, because once it becomes chunky, then you're gonna have to pipette it in as if you're baking. So, and also it's always good, especially if you're reusing a container, going ahead and mix, you wash it with soap and water and then put a little bit of hydrogen peroxide in the inside to sanitize it and let it air out completely before you add it. That's just to make sure that there's no microbes or anything that could make the lotion go sour. Now, what's the difference between lotion, balms, creams, salves, and all that? I talk about all of that in my medicine making class. So I think I might have overfilled it a little. We'll find out in a second. All right, so now this is it. And over the next couple hours, it'll turn around and become super thick, just like The lotion, perfect. You'll be able to squirt it on, put your hand upside down, and it'll stay, it won't drip off like it is right, like right now it's still a little bit liquidy. This was one that I did on a trial run, but this one I used a fragrance for my daughter because that's what she wanted. And this one is an essential oil blend. So the colors are a little bit different. The colors can change based on whatever ingredients you use. You can swap out the oils, but if you don't know with your skin type, what's the best oils, I do highly recommend taking my medicine making course because it makes it really easy for you to customize your routine and the way that you want to do things that's a perfect fit for your unique situation. So other than that, I do have a podcast. You can find it on Spotify, Pandora. I use Podbean and it puts it on like 11 different podcast places, maybe more. I don't know, just it's everywhere. And then I also have a Phyto Revival community on Facebook. I just started it, so it's just now starting to get members and stuff in it. Will say that my podcast, I'm 14 episodes in, and I have reached 11 countries have listened to my podcast, which makes me very happy. But I love to hear from you guys what exactly you want to do, and just know that my little short videos, they're going to be raw. I'm not trying to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I am a disabled combat vet that can be overstimulated very easily, and trying to do this with teenagers during summer break is fantastic. Smartest idea I've ever had. But anyway, I'm going to be doing a lot of homesteading stuff. We're learning a lot of things about building our homestead here in Kentucky. Bears are an issue. Bears were not an issue in Illinois. So I'm learning like electric fences for your bees and all these other things. So I'll just be taking you guys on our journey and being able to get a lot of this stuff. Maybe you're in the same area or in the same boat. Or if you have any questions, generally I like to answer them. I like to talk and I like to educate. So, but for now, that's enough talking. And I think we're done here. So until next time, I will talk to you guys later. And thanks for dealing with me. All right. Bye.